For your money, how you pay for all those expenses during your lifetime can have a significant impact on your finances.
And if you make the wrong choice in your spending, it can often lead to money problems. It's that domino effect. Our financial expert, Andy Mattingly, is in the studio now to talk about some of the best ways to pay for different types of expenses.
Okay, so Andy, good to see you. What are ways that people get into trouble when they're paying for just regular life's expenses?
Well, a lot of times what gets them in trouble is that they borrow for a lot of those expenses. I mean, everyone has to borrow, but what happens is they get too caught up and they borrow for a lot of those expenses, and then all of a sudden that monthly budget gets hit and they have a hard time paying back all that debt.
So what types of expenses cause the most financial problems?
There's really two types. One is what I would call discretionary expenses. So that's the luxury items, things of that nature, or vacations, so things like that. And then it's emergencies, car repairs, or maybe it's minor medical expenses. Those are the kind of things that if you finance all of those things, you can really get yourself in trouble.
So how should people pay for their discretionary spending?
Well, the best thing to do for discretionary spending is to make sure that you can save before you take that vacation, because if you save for it, then you're not building any debt. And if you can't save for it, you probably can't handle the debt. So that's a good way to think about discretionary spending.
I want to go back to car repairs because I'm thinking like appliances break, minor medical bills.
Yes.
How do you deal with those?
Well, that's where you want to make sure you're building that emergency fund. And you may not have all the money, but if you can have part of the money in your emergency fund to pay for some of those repairs, then that helps you not put so much pressure on your monthly budget.
So then what would you say is the biggest spending mistake a person can make?
The biggest one is start funding everyday living expenses with your credit card. So if you're having a hard time making ends meet month to month, and you start using your credit card to supplement and pay some of those other things and build that debt, you're really going down the path of where you're going to be in a lot of trouble, because eventually you're going to have to pay that credit card back.
So how do you decide then how to accumulate your debt?
Well, if you have a budget, or can at least build a budget of what you're currently spending, you can see if you have some extra money. If you have extra money every month, then you can handle a little debt. If you're already struggling, you probably don't want to add any more debt because you won't be able to pay it back.
Right.
All right. Thanks for bringing us into reality.
As always.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, a perfect story.